So the number one problem I hear more often than not from my clients is, how can I lose this belly fat? Or how can I get rid of these rolls on my stomach? Or how can I just get rid of fat and they're pointing at their belly? You catch my drift? See, changing our belly and how it looks and how it feels is a big concern for many of us, and it should be a big concern for you too. It was for me. So let me tell you how I lost my belly fat and went from this to this, and how it completely changed my life. Okay, so I want to jump right in and say that my results may be different than yours, and your results may be different than someone else's. So I'm not going to guarantee that your results are going to be exactly like mine. And to be honest, it's actually the wrong way to take advice from someone thinking that you're going to achieve the same results they have, because we're just all different. Our body structure is different, our level of fat and muscle is different, our genetics are different, our lifestyle is different. So you can't compare yourself to someone else's results. But what I can guarantee is that you are going to see a difference in how your belly will look. And you're going to see changes. You're going to see a drop in body fat. You'll have an increase in energy. You'll find yourself in a better mood. You'll have increasing confidence, and you'll certainly have a positive effect on your overall well-being. That I can guarantee. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's jump right into it. Number one is make a plan for your goal. See, first you want to figure out what your goal is and what do you want to achieve. It can be to burn belly fat. Be specific, right? So burn belly fat. Maybe you want to tone up. Maybe you want to shape up your legs. Maybe you want to build and grow your glutes. Maybe you just want to lose overall body weight. You can't hit something if you have no idea what to aim for. It's like shooting a target with your eyes closed, right? I'm not going to hit it. I'm not going to know where it's at. I'm not going to know what I need to do if I don't know what my goal is. So my goal was to lose overall body weight while building lean muscle. Number two, once you know your plan, you have to start right away. So you don't wait for the next month or for the next week. You just need to start. If you don't start now, life is going to pull you away. Right? You got life, you got stuff, you got school, you got kids, you got family, things happen. So you need to take that foot forward and put that first step in and start now. See, once I knew what I wanted to do, once I had my goal ready, I went head first. I didn't start tomorrow. I didn't start a day later. I started now. Number three is I took out all of my refined carbohydrates. Now, refined carbohydrates are pretty much processed carbs or simple carbs. It's pretty much carbohydrates that have been stripped of all of its nutritional value, like your fiber, your protein, other kinds of nutrients that come in these carbs. Foods like white bread and pizza or pizza dough and pasta, pastries, flour, white rice, these sweet desserts that you like, maybe the breakfast cereals. Am I saying that you should never eat this stuff? No. I actually still enjoy my pizza. I actually still had pizza when I was eating like this. I'm just telling you what I did to get where I am. I didn't fully eliminate carbs either, because you actually need carbs to help in your recovery and in your training. I also stuck with mostly fruits, all the colors of the rainbow of fruits. I also ate whole grain, complex carbs for the most part, like sweet potatoes and oatmeal. But I did limit myself to the carbs I was eating. But I'll explain that towards the end of the video on why I did that. Number four is you need to be focusing on getting all of your protein in. And I mean your whole daily protein that you need to be taking per day on a routine basis, right? I'm talking about 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. See, protein is the most important macro for muscle building, and it's gonna help you facilitate fat loss. It's also gonna help you stay full because it gives you an effect, the satiating effect, so you don't go out and feel like you have to continue to eat and eat snacks and hour after hour after hour. It's the reason why you can eat popcorn and just tubs of popcorn or tubs of French fries and feel like you're not even full, because these are just very simple carbs and it really has no satiating effect compared to protein. And the protein that worked best for me was eggs, and I'm talking about whole eggs, right, to get all the nutrients in, got a lot of that, and typical lean chicken breast and ground turkey. Number five is to make sure that you're having low to moderate amount of fat. Now, our body runs off of 2 sources of fuel. It runs off of carbohydrates and it runs off of fat. And the problem is, many of us, we tend to end up having more fat than we actually should. Maybe you can blame it on the ketogenic style diet that came about, where everybody thinks that just having fats is going to be healthy and is going to help you lose weight, and by lowering the carbs and elevating the fat. But the problem is, your whole goal is to burn fat. And by externally adding extra amounts of fat, sure, you're going to be burning more fat because you're adding in the external source of fat, but now the body isn't able to burn the fat that it has already on the body. And that's why I recommend keeping a low amount, or maybe possibly moderate amount of fat. It's the reason why I actually decided to take a lower amount of fat for me, because that was the whole goal, to actually burn the fat that I already had in my body. And for many of us, when we go for fats, we kind of shoot for all the fats that's out there, but I wanted to stay away from saturated fats. I recommend you stay away from saturated fats as well and focus on actually getting good quality fats, which are called monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats, like nuts and seeds, avocados, Evo, right? Extra virgin olive oil, and fish. The kinds of fats that I actually went with avocados, I went with whole eggs, I went with cottage cheese, and some pieces of cheese here and there. That's it. Again, I really limited the amount of the types of fats I was having, but I also, again, limited the portion of the fats as well. Number 6 is I did time restricted eating, which is also called intermittent fasting. I'm sure many of you have heard of that. And basically, well, first off, before you get all crazy and think that intermittent fasting is the magic sauce, it's the way to get you to losing weight, it's not. Okay, intermittent fasting is just another tool to help you control the amount of calories that you consume in a day. So the way I structured my intermittent fasting protocol was a 18-6 ratio, meaning I had a window of fasting for 18 hours, and then I broke it with a 6-hour window of the time that I can eat. And again, this is just a tool. So this tool may not be for everyone, right? This may pose a challenge for some others who feel like they can't handle a long period of time without eating, especially also when it comes to holidays for many of us. Many of us want to enjoy time with the family, maybe want to enjoy maybe dinner time, or you just love to have breakfast in the morning with your kids or your significant other. So sometimes intermittent fasting can actually interfere with our lifestyle. So you have to figure out what actually is going to work for you, because there are many different tools out there. But for me, intermittent fasting worked amazing because I tend to start my fast towards the end of my day. That way, majority of my fast was done while I was sleeping, right? Average maybe 6 to 8 hours of sleep. And then I would wake up and kind of break my fast by the following middle of the day. And that way, by the time it hit towards the evening time, I was able to have dinner with my family, which is something that we always try to do. We try to have a dinner together. The way I structured my meals was pretty much having 2 bigger meals in that time of window eating, right? So instead of having my typical 3 to 4 meals a day and snacks, I was able to have 2 larger meals, which helped overall in my calorie consumption. Now, what happens is some people make mistakes. When they break their fast, they end up having an overload amount of calories. So you just gotta be careful with that when you're doing it. Again, if you can still keep your plates relatively portion controlled while you're doing your fasting, you're gonna have tremendous effects while doing this. Okay, number 7, this is super important. I cut my calories. Look, if you are not cutting calories, you will not lose weight, period. You can eat all the healthy food that you want, but if you don't cut calories, you're not going to lose the weight. You're not going to burn the body fat. This brings me back to actually why I limited my carbs, as I mentioned earlier in the video, because it's not the carbs that are bad. Carbs are not bad at all. Okay, it's that I was eating too much of it. And it's the same reason why I limited myself to fats and I decided to keep it really, really low. On top of that, most refined carbohydrates come with some added fats as well. So you're kind of giving a big overload on both fats and carbs, right? And fat by itself contains more calories and requires more energy to burn off. Again, you need to cut calories. If you stay on a deficit amount of calories, whatever diet that you're trying to be on, you will lose the weight. And number 8, the last one, is I trained hard. Yes, so I decided to follow a consistent training program week after week after week, and I trained for strength. I incorporated a lot of volume in my training program as well. Studies actually show that training helps with satiating issues as well. And it helps burn more calories at rest because you're actually building muscle. And when you build muscle, muscle is gonna end up burning more calories than fat itself. So that was the biggest focus. I need to build my lean muscle because that's gonna overall help me, especially when I go throughout my day, because I'm not gonna be in the gym, 24/7. Most of my time is gonna be out of the gym. So if by having more muscle on my body, it's gonna help me burn more calories throughout the day. Going back to that study that training helps with satiating effects, it can also have a positive psychological effect when it comes to dieting and appetite control, right? I find with my clients, I've seen a lot of evidence with my clients and from experience that when clients are put on a training program, they tend to stick to their diet for a longer period of time, and they tend to adhere to the plan more strictly on a routine basis. And again, if you've never trained before, if you never worked out before, don't stress over it. Just start getting active and going out. Maybe going for a walk, starting off with a walk on a day-by-day basis, and eventually doing some body weight movements on a day-by-day basis. And you're gonna see as you progress and you build over time, it will become easier to make that part of your habit, and also using that, another tool to help you for your weight loss. To sum this all up, the way I structured my plan to help me lose my belly fat not only helped me reduce the belly, but I was able to see my overall reduction in fat. And it's the reason why you see the change that I made in my steps. It was to get into a healthy caloric deficit. Again, you will not lose weight if you don't create a caloric deficit in your daily intake. And these steps I took were incredible sources of tools that worked well with my lifestyle and had great psychological aspects when it came to making appropriate eating habits that I needed to lose my weight and to help me lose my fat. So, should you do what I did? You don't have to, but I know that it worked for me, and I just wanted to share this info to you guys so that maybe it can help you. And if you felt like you got some great info you can use towards your goal, let me know what steps you would want to use for you to help to get rid of that belly fat in the comments below. And make sure you like and subscribe to my channel to get updated on my next video release. Until next time, this is Coach Lewis. Take care.